So we're going to do this. The exploding robot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's beautiful.
Yes. So I put up another folder called Demo Funbot, and it has 8 blocks, and I'll just go over how this is made. So if we look at the individual blocks, there is the one called new ground, which is just the background, nothing else whatsoever. It's just one frame. Then exactly the same way as with the previous example, we have a shadow masking layer here. So I'm just switching alpha on and off. And when we put that on, we get the shadow here. Actually, it's not really that visible if I don't do a multiply. So you can see if I choose something and press D, that will toggle the effect of that node. And in this case, I actually multiplied the shadow by 5 to make it more visible. It's just, you don't have to do it, but I did. Then the next piece here is that we have this robot thing here, which is sort of just looking around and getting blown up. And I put that in here in front of my background. So now we have getting blown up with shadow. Then I have this thing here, which is like an explosion. Ooh. So this is practical effects recorded somewhere in a dark room. And I put that over my clip, but you can see it's in a funky place. So I add a transform node from the transform section. And with the transform, I can move things around to place them where I think it would make sense for it to be. That's actually another little thing we'll look at in a second. Okay, so there. Then I have this thing here, the upper body, which is like a textured version of the other one. So if you look here, you can see that there is, this one is sort of blank, whereas this one is textured. So we're putting that on top again, there. So we get this thing, and then it explodes. Then there's something, and this is a little technical, and you can try if you can make it work. If not, just leave it be. We have this sequence here, which is like a brightness layer of this thing that should be a shockwave. Now, to be able to use this shockwave, I have to put it in the stream, the thing I was talking about with multiple channels. So I'm using this shuffle copy. So I have number 2 coming in here and number 1 coming in here. So I'm putting number 2 in red, green, blue, and alpha. So that is just, we'll see the normal colors here. But then I added down here, I added a new one called displacement, and I added the red, green, blue, and alpha from the shockwave. So now when I look at this channel here, just take the viewer node and put it on the side here so you can see what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the shuffle copy thing now. I will actually have other layers up here. I have one called displacement, and if I switch to that, you can see it now has this thing running in the same stream beside the color thing. Also, this thing up here is because of my transform, that it's actually having information outside that is just not getting shown, but never mind that. Okay, so we get to, let's see, there, and then we get to this thing here. The next thing is I pipe this into a distort node, And in here I just tell it to use this, instead of using red, green and blue or something, I use the displacement I just made to distort. And if you look at that, you can see that it's doing this distortion thing. So when it's blowing up, it's like distorting the whole thing, the background, etc. So that gives us sort of like a visual clue to that there's a shock wave. Then I have a single image of this lens flare, and I put that over here. Just need to find the right frame. It's there. You can see the little A here. That means there's animation on this node. So if I double click it, you can see I have animated the mix so that it's off, then it's on after 2 frames, and then it's off again. So that's what gives us this little glint or flash. Then we merge the smoke. Smoke is just like this. So we put that, lag. There we go. So the smoke goes over the clip here. And then finally we have some sparks that are flying around like this. And I blur them a little bit, and then I merge them on top of everything, and I get that. What I could also do is, in this merge node, if I double click it, you can see that it says over. This is exactly the same sort of mindset that you have in Photoshop, that when you have normal blending on top, you can choose different blending modes, just like in Photoshop. So for instance, if I set this to plus, it will add to the image underneath, so it'll typically be more like a bright thing. The final thing that I did here that you cannot see is that I actually pushed some clips around to make the timing work right. If we go to the dope sheet, I just need to pop over here and choose all of it. There we go. So you can see that in the dope sheet here, I have this clip here. Was that it? No, that wasn't it. Which one was it? It's not that one. Where is it? It's this thing. Yeah. So you can see that the explosion, I had to move this time-wise because, I want the explosion to happen here. But in reality, the explosion happens from frame 0. So I would have this, but I wanted to explode at the right time. So I took the clip in the dope sheet and I moved it to the right time, so it's around there. So I get the explosion at the right time. So you can retime things that way. I think I'll just leave it at that and let you play around with it. And then let's see what happens. And it's okay if you don't do it exactly like I did it, but do something similar. Maybe you're not going to do the shockwave because it's a little tricky to get this shuffle thing to work the first time, but it's okay. So have a